So the other day, on a boring Friday night, your boy finally watched The Lighthouse, starring William Dafoe, Robert Pattinson. Gotta say, my boys, the weirdest experience I've ever had for any movie in a very long time. I have not been that creeped out over a movie probably since my first viewing of The Shining, which was at the very tender age of 4 years old. Shout out to my grandpa for showing me that movie for whatever reason. But hey, he wanted me to get into horror at an early age. The comparisons to that, though, The Lighthouse, man, it's a creepy fucking movie. And I'm talking about, it doesn't have to like rely on the jump scares and all those, campy horror movies where now all the time with horror movies, especially with like Universal and Blumhouse and all those guys, it's like jump scare here, jump scare there. And I know you recently watched The Grudge, so you could attest to this when we get into it right now. I enjoyed The Lighthouse because it was just more of like, we're going to creep you out with the music, we're going to creep you out with the sound, with the imagery. Black and white movie, I'm a fan of that. One of my all-time favorite movies is Clerks, so I'm never going to complain. I know I saw some people on Twitter be like, oh, there's just in black and white, what's so creepy about that? Black and white adds a lot of creepiness because it just takes away from so many things. And then black and white in the ocean, that's even scarier. Your boy can't swim. I hate the fucking ocean, so that's even scarier for me personally, and I have a lot of people that can attest to that stories. But The Lighthouse, fucking fantastic. I gave it an 8 out of 10. My one thing about that movie, if you're going to watch it, pay attention the whole way through. Be a time where you could just shut your phone off, and I know that's impossible in today's fucking times. Try to watch it late at night, because usually when everybody's fucking asleep, they won't bother you during these featured films. I would do that because you fucking turn away from this movie for like 5 seconds, dude, and you turn back to it. You don't know where the hell this movie went. But a lot of cum, a lot of jerking off. I think I saw Pattinson at least cum like 2 times. There's a scene with Dafoe just jizzing everywhere to an octopus.
Now, does it show their dicks and cum, or is it just...
It shows like cum dripping down at some point. It's one of those. But okay, it's a great movie. But let's transition because now I'm like sucking this movie off. You saw The Grudge. I saw it too. I went in 20 minutes and I was done. And you were the one that actually eventually like watched it.
I finished it. I didn't leave. I wanted to a couple times. Yeah, we touched on it. We're kind of going over not necessarily just the new movies of the last year or so, but also maybe some honorable mentions. Yeah. And we've already now just touched base on your past of The Shining and the similarities to it. See, I didn't care about not the original, but the Grudge that Americans are known and used to. I did not care about that one growing up.
Me neither. It freaked me out as a kid, like the stupid little shit with this like weird noises, like the doors creaking.
The cat noise. Yeah.
But my biggest remembrance of those movies is when Scary Movie made fun of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was my whole thing. It was that and The Ring. I never really cared about. In terms of, did I think they were scary? No. Did I think they were great movies? Definitely not. I understood it was a generation thing, so I mean, I get it.
For an early 2000 movie, it was decent.
Yeah.
For that time, because early 2000 movies, it's very hard to find a horror movie from the early 2000s that was good. Like, can you even, like, that was mainstream.
No, I get what you mean.
We could think of deep cuts.
Like, but it's very true.
For a mainstream horror movie, that was The Ring, The Grudge, those very campy, newer
Because other than that, the only thing that comes to mind is, like, remakes. So, like, the remake of Massacre, when they started a Dawn of the Dead remake, stuff like that. Yeah. As far as this one goes, though, I was fucking bored halfway. It's just, it goes over, like, different time periods of you showing what has gone on in this said house and why there's, like, a curse or kind of, like, spirits. And I'll give it some kind of credit that there were certain scenes that are kind of like not necessarily horror, but there's kind of like cool scenes where like just gross. And I guess in a sense, there's one where like an old lady's like chopping her own like fingers off.
Okay.
And I mean,
that's the same old chick from Insidious, right?
Yes. Yeah. So it was interesting seeing certain people like that, like character-wise, so you know them from other kind of franchises. So like there's certain parts where you're like, oh, this is kind of spooky, whatever, creepy. It does not save the film though. And I was telling you earlier, it ends so abruptly and then kind of just awkwardly to where you're like, is it done? Are we going to have like a last jump scare real quick?
Yeah.
No? Okay, and it's over.
And does it rely heavily on jump scares, or is it just like...
No, not really. I'm trying to like replaying it back in my mind right now. There's like a handful, but it's more just like story. And it's kind of like that whole thing of like, a lot of it is tying it back to the beginning.
Okay.
So the beginning, you see a bunch of stuff, and then as the movie goes, you're like, okay, now that connects to that. Okay, this explains why that was this.
Yeah.
But as far as like a remake or a newer movie that needs an update, why they needed that one, I don't understand.
Because Sam Raimi was involved.
Yeah.
And I think, like, well, my experience with, like, The Grudge, like you said, early 2000s, as a kid, it creeped me out because for whatever reason, my dad was super into it, but my dad was into the older version, the Japanese version of The Grudge.
Okay.
So he was into that. So for me, he was super excited for the early 2000s version of it. And I think he liked it because I remember he would watch it so many fucking times and I would just be annoyed about it because the little shit would, like, annoy me in that movie and just freak me out.
They do change that, though.
Really?
I will tell you this. Yeah, of what I do remember, and not to necessarily shit talk or just get it wrong, from what I remember from, again, I will say the American version because I never saw the Japanese original version. So from the American one, it was a little boy who I believe drowned in the tub. If I'm getting that right, they keep that, but it's not a little boy; it's a little girl now, and it's a different family.
Okay,
it has nothing to do with that until kind of in the end they take it back to like the Japanese route, to where right before I saw the film, I found out that they said this is a sequel to the first Grudge.
The older version or the 2000s?
No, the 2000s.
Oh, okay.
But it's in between like Grudge 1 and Grudge 2.
Grudges?
Yeah.
Or is this the second one or is this like
I think there was two. I had that question too.
Yeah, I never knew there was two Grudge that struck me. I'm like, I never knew.
There was. And that's why, yes, supposedly that's why I had read right before, this one is like a middle.
Okay. And that's fucking more confusing than it has to be.
Helps, though.
And I may be wrong, and my boys, you can tell me in the comment section. I remember, wasn't the first one about like a girl that was stalking like a guy as well? Or am I mixing my fucking movies up?
I don't know. It was we talked about it was Buffy was like the caretaker, I guess, in a way. Like, I feel watching the home.
Like in my head, I remember I have not seen the original Grudge in such a fucking long time.
I can't tell you anything other than the little boy.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I remember.
One of the key things I remember from the original one, it was like, I guess there's the girl goes to the house, she's taking care of some old lady. This is like the 2000 version, and like she finds these pictures, and there's like this guy with his family, and then there's like this Asian lady always in the background, and she keeps getting like closer and closer and closer, and they're like the original one where they're trying to twist into like kind of a love story. I don't know, just for some reason that's what's like coming to my brain when I'm thinking about The Grudge. I could be completely wrong, and you guys can tell me.
I think you're pretty spot on, and again, we could be told in the comments after, but I guess that's why now looking back at watching this one, it's not supposed to be a reboot or a remake, but they don't keep that similarity. It's not, like I said, it's not a little boy, it's a little girl with a family, and it wasn't so much. It was like the house again made her crazy. Okay. And I'm taking a lot again of similarities. Right now there was a show on, and I always get the name wrong, on Netflix, the Haunting of Hill House. I believe.
That shit.
Did you see that?
Fuck yeah.
Okay. It reminded me of that, to where like they do reveal those. This is gonna be a lot of spoiler based, and sorry guys,
but nobody watched The Grudge anyways.
No, I don't care about that. Oh. Spoiler based of other movies and television that we might talk about. But so the whole thing of how the house in the end kind of is the whole making the mom crazy from the show, and The Grudge kind of takes that influence as well. Okay. Of the original, so the little girl that you see in the movie, she's already dead. But you find out
they're going with like the Amityville route.
In a roundabout way, yes. Yeah. And I did get that vibe, but it's just the movie didn't deliver on those similarities. Like you got those similarities, and they could have built on it,
and they just,
but nothing ever did.
Yeah,
so
it sounds like
okay.
It sounds like they had a direction, but then they also had a bunch of different routes to go to, and they kind of just threw them all in one movie. And they're like, here is fucking The Grudge, and it has, I think, like a 15% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It got bombed, dude. Oh, and I know you guys told me, like, don't fucking watch this movie, Hollywood. Like, you're gonna hate it. It's not that great. And you're right, you know. I mean, at least I used the gift card for it, so I'm not really tripping about it at the end of the day. But it sounded awful. I'm glad you brought up Hill House, though, because that director, fucking fantastic. That guy, he may be the next big horror director of our generation.
What has he done?
Dr. Sleep. And I have not talked about Dr. Sleep yet, and I know
yet to see that.
Fucking, and that's why when you brought it up, like everything, dude, that movie. Woo! When it comes to paying homage to The Shining and Kubrick's Shining, which brought joy to me because it's always funny that homeboy that wrote The Shining wrote it as well. His name fucking passes me right now, but y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. We'll get to it.
Yeah, he'll come later on, probably when I'm done recording. There you go, Stephen King. Stephen King hates Kubrick's Shining. Everybody knows that for whatever reason.
But which is funny because, yes, I've always heard that since I was a kid.
Yeah.
But that, like we just were saying, that is The Shining.
Yeah.
Kubrick's version of The Shining is The Shining.
Hey, have you ever seen King's version of The Shining? Like the TV series?
I didn't care for it.
Yeah, it's so fucking bad.
I just, and now it's been so many years since I've seen it. But from what I do remember, I just didn't care for it. It wasn't awful. It wasn't the worst. But compared to the movie adaptation...
That's what happens when an author wants it to be, like, ripped from the book and put onto the big screen. And Kubrick...
And I get it. Yeah. Stephen King. So, you know, you want it to be. But again...
You shouldn't have picked fucking Stanley. Like, Stanley Kubrick is one of the greatest directors of all time. Yeah. And that guy does his own fucking thing, his own way. Well, he's never going to add exactly in there. I mean,
as far as, you know, again, like another movie of his and book, Clockwork Orange. Yeah. One of my favorite books and films. It's not completely... It's so similar, but he had his own...
His twist.
Yeah. So, again, like you said, Kubrick knew what he was doing. Does he... get a lot of shit for what he did? Yes. But I think any director probably does, you know?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he had his take on it. And like we said, Stephen King, yes, he wanted to be his own original, but it does, to me, my personal opinion, it's just mine right now against anybody else's. I cannot stand the Stephen King version.
It's so bad. And the book's great, but again, Kubrick's movie was just hands down until this day, and I've said it multiple times on this channel, so this isn't surprising to you guys. The Shining is my all-time favorite movie and horror movie. I love that movie. To me, if there's ever a thing when people are like, there's no such thing as perfect movies, to me, it's The Shining. That movie just hits all the notes. Jack Nicholson's performance is just one of the greatest.
Right now, as we're talking about it, I just instinctively have the intro in my head of the song and the winding road.
Name me another movie that has a fucking intro like that. Like, the movie starts and it gives you chills. Just that music that Kubrick added.
Just got chills, dude. I'm thinking of the intro.
This movie, the new one, Dr. Sleep, they bring the fucking music back.
Okay.
They bring back the old hotel. They tried from what it's Mike Flanagan. Mike Flanagan is the director. I don't want to diss that dude's amazing, legendary now. Dr. Sleep is a perfect combination of King's vision, but also staying true to what Kubrick did.
Okay.
So it's a direct sequel from the Kubrick version.
That's what I heard.
Yeah,
that's what I liked the most. I was like, okay.
They do recast the mom and Jack Nicholson's character. Whoa. It's hard to see a little bit because you're like, but... Okay, spoilers.
So Nicholson's character is harder to come by for that.
The mom
Jokes aside, you gotta recast her because she is batshit crazy now. All due respect, but she also likes to say that the movie is one of the reasons she's crazy. That's one film out of your career. You also did Popeye the Sailor Man, so...
Fucking Olive Oil, whatever shit her name was.
I think
a rookie with Robin Williams would do that to anybody, not Kubrick.
So, you know, but...
Jack Nicholson ended up fine.
See, that's funny, actually. I don't think I heard about that, and not to take away, because I'll let you finish that, but it's... The problem with newer films right now that are sequels to movies from 70s, 80s are that they try to capture that idea And the next one that I was going to bring up is the newest Terminator movie.
Fuck
they
that
tried
movie.
to.
Did you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
And actually, I saw most of it. I don't think I got to finish it. From what I saw of it, I didn't hate it, but I wanted to like it more.
Yeah.
So, but the whole thing was again, spoilers, but we'll get back to Dr. Sleep, but the whole thing of them trying to change history of the Terminator.
I know what you're going to get to.
Yeah, so it's, you do the CGI part, and now we have in this generation of newer movies, we have the de-aging effect, which is
Saw
great.
it in The Irishman.
It is great when it is done well.
My God, Pacino.
I know,
dude. Like De Niro kind of looked clunky sometimes in the movie,
but
Pacino and Pesci too was fucking like insanely de-aged.
It was another movie, obviously.
Yeah,
for
I know we're jumping, but
mention, but no. So it's one of those things that it takes away when you do that, and it depends on the film, and it also depends on the actor. So again, I'll get her name wrong. The original actress. All due respect, you gotta recast her if you're doing something. If they were gonna do something with Nicholson, I kind of have a hard time believing that he would have passed on that.
He did.
Really?
Okay, so here's the story.
Okay,
Mike
right,
Flanagan did approach Nicholson to be like,
Okay.
I want you in this movie because I don't want to disrespect your history from the character. I want you back. The thing is, Nicholson, he's retired, like dead set retired.
No,
and this isn't the first time he's been approached to play that character.
Not jumping back and forth, but again, we've seen
Yeah.
Joe Pesci was retired.
Yeah, and he
he
came
was
back.
approached so much.
But I think at the end of the day, I think Pesci Nicholson's like on the tipping board.
On the film, maybe if it was Kubrick himself.
I think so. But I think with like Pesci, when they're like, oh, De Niro and Pacino are in this. And fun fact, Pesci and De Niro Pesci and Pacino had never worked together before The Irishman. That scene with them, and you know The Irishman already, everybody's watched that 6-hour movie. There's a scene with Pesci and Pacino when they're talking. That is the first ever scene that Pesci and Pacino have ever been in a scene together. Yeah. So that played a key role to him coming back. I think with Pacino, he's just like, not Pacino, Nicholson. It's just him being like, I've done fucking everything. All I want to do is watch Laker games, find a young lady to hang out with, and do what I got to do and drink.
Like we said, maybe if it was a different director or a different movie, you know. I'm
sure the only person that could bring him back is probably Scorsese. If Scorsese's like, I want to do a movie like The Departed, he'll probably be like, okay, let's fucking go for round 2.
Yeah.
But my thing with like, okay, so let's backtrack to fucking Dr. Sleep.
Yes.
And I do want to talk about Terminator because I've never got the chance to rage about that movie until you just brought it up, and I'll get to why.
We'll have our
we'll have her, yeah. But okay, so Dr. Sleep, Mike Flanagan did approach Nicholson to be in the movie. Not the first time, because when Steven Spielberg was filming Ready Player One, there's a scene in Ready Player One where they do play homage to The Shining. So in Ready Player One, which is also a book,
I've still never seen that movie.
Fucking good, dude. So fucking good.
Great things, but okay.
The book's really good as well, by the way. If you guys haven't read it, check that out. But so they pay homage. It's not in the book, so Spielberg changed it. So one of the things in levels, it's like a video game type of movie. One of the levels, instead of adding it from the book, he put The Shining in it. So they have to go to the hotel, and they have to go through the maze, and you see Jack. Yeah, it's in the movie. So you see Jack Torrance's legs go like running with the fucking axe. So originally Spielberg approached Nicholson to be like, I want you in this, we'll de-age you. And Nicholson still said no. So for Nicholson to say no to Spielberg, you know he's dead set on being like, yeah, I don't want to do any of this anymore. I'm done. Like, all I want to do is go to Laker games with my grandson and not do shit. And his grandson looks fucking exactly like him, so I don't know why they're not casting his grandson. I'm sure he can act, but still, it's like, if you want somebody to de-age Nicholson, just get him. They do get somebody, and it, excuse me, it does look like Jack Torrance in the movie.
Okay.
Spoiler, but fucking Dr. Sleep's been out since October or November, so it's been 2 months. He's the caretaker now. He's the fucking bartender.
Oh, okay.
So Ewan McGregor, who's playing Danny Torrance, has to go back to the Overlook Hotel. He goes back to the Overlook Hotel. He walks into the same fucking scene, dude, from The Shining. The bar scene, walks up, sits down, and the guy asks, what would it be for today, Mr. Torrance? And he looks up and he was like, you know what I like, Dad. And he turns around and it's not Jack, but it's as close as it could be. And he's wearing the red like fucking suit that the original bartender had in The Shining, and he's pouring it to him. And Ewan McGregor's like talking to him, and there's a scene where Jack Torrance is like, "No, you've always been the caretaker." And I'm like, "Fuckers, man!" I'm like, "You got my money, man. Wow. I'm in this shit."
That's good.
They bring back the fucking old lady from the bathtub scene. They bring, yeah, dude, she's like a huge role in this movie. They bring back the fucking twins. They didn't have to do anything to do with the Overlook Hotel, but I love that they brought that shit back, and I love that Mike Flanagan just tried his hardest to pay homage to that, and also bring those characters back into reality. And because like there's that fucking scene in the third act. It's a long movie though. That's the problem. That was my only problem with the movie, because it's like almost fucking 3 hours, and I'm like, let's get to it.
Take away from that, I think a lot of movies right now, not even like big name movies, are trying to cash in on the 2.5 hour, almost 3 hour mark. Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like big movies, like name brand, like Star Wars, so that
Endgame.
I understand, yes, but a lot of movies, and like again, we are jumping a lot of grounds right now. Yeah. But one movie that did not have to be as long as it was, Midsummer. I don't understand why some movies feel like they have to push it, and almost in comparison to Endgame, to these big budget movies that you said were.
And it's funny because I feel like a lot of these movies don't know where to hit their mark. Like Star Wars to me was too short.
Okay.
Like Rise, as much as people were like on the fence about it.
Still yet to see it.
Okay.
I'm waiting. I'm getting close, man.
So the thing with the new Star Wars movie, and I feel like we're bouncing everywhere. Fuck it. It's too short.
This is just a movie episode.
Yeah. I mean, if you fucking saw the first episode, which 800 plus of you guys did, so I thank you. Yeah, that was awesome.
Holy shit, we don't even know 800 people. Like,
seriously.
We don't know who listened to that.
To listen to us fucking ramble about every single joke or ever, thank you so much. But again, Hollywood Uncensored is probably going to be mostly based on movies and pop culture and stuff like that. You'll see us on Matt's and Marks every Wednesday night at 8 p.m., but that's mostly pro wrestling. So I know a lot of you guys who subscribe to me are pro wrestling fans. So again, free admission. You can find me, sometimes Rossi, depending on the schedule. Those are different days of different times, but like this mostly is going to be pop culture movies, mostly horror movies.
We are, again, to elaborate on what you posted earlier, we do want this to be a weekly thing. Mm-hmm. We are going to do our best. Yeah. Like we said, both of us have
Life's
schedules.
Crazy, yeah.
Life is very crazy at times. Right now, it seems like we may be getting a little breath of fresh air and a little bit more relaxing time. So maybe even 2 a week. Who knows? We'll catch up.
We'll get to a point of because we dropped episode 1, and I'm the worst when it comes to podcasts, because I'm always like I'm always introducing new concepts,
and
I'm
you being the worst. I feel like anytime you and I are attached to each other for podcasts, we do like one good one, and then we don't do one for a year.
Well, yeah, there's always.
Like, I will give you.
We did
my
2
slack too, where I'm like, shit, man, I should be doing more too. Like,
we did 2 podcasts 2 years ago. Pop is War. Remember that one?
We did 2.
We did 2, and then we never did it again, and then we just never did it again. Yeah. And then one of the bigger things was that, GCF happened, and that was kind of our focus for a little bit, and it still is. By the way, I think I reported this on my thing. Your boy's going to be on the announce team.
Yes, he is.
February 8th, GCF, Assimilation. Tickets are now on sale. The link will be in the description, so please come out, hang out if you're in the Cali area. I know a lot of you wrestling fans are. Come out. Assimilation, I've said it many times, I think this is the most stacked card in GCF history. But not only that, again, your boy will be making his announced team debut, so that is big news. Rossi will be there, always, with the champ, as always. But again, you'll find us, if you want all that news, Wednesday nights, free admission. I always let you guys know when we're going to go live, so you could see when, free admission on YouTube and Facebook. So you'll find us there, and Rossi usually sporadically makes an appearance because Homeboy's got a busy schedule. So,
I try and show up as much as I can. But exactly.
But going back, let's backtrack. I know, but we gotta do our little plugins because we do work with other people as well.
The ad space.
Yeah, the ad space. Yeah. Dr. Sleep, watch it. Fucking fantastic. I think it was up. It was probably at the end of the day my 3rd favorite movie.
You just sold it for me.
Yeah, honestly, if you're a fan of The Shining, highly recommend it.
I already wanted to see it. Clearly, obviously, and like you just said, I am a fan of The Shining. I did want to see it already.
Yes.
I really haven't heard much about it, good or bad, which is good.
It's unfortunate because that movie should have made a lot of money. And it should have got the attention like movies like Midsummer did and all those.
The sad part is I knew it wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's the unfortunate part because, like you said, it's movies like Midsummer, Hereditary, big movies from the last couple years that I don't agree with. I don't believe should have gotten the credit, did. However, maybe, and this is wishful thinking, that sales, DVD orders, whatever, will give them the money and profits back that they deserve. You know, whereas far as maybe they don't sell out on the movies, but they'll get the costs, and people are buying it on digital downloads now more so. So just hopefully they make something, you know.
And that's the shitty part, because I'm like, that movie deserves so much more credit than it actually got. I'm like, it was so great. It's just shitty because I just feel like Ewan McGregor, as much as I love him, he just, for whatever reason, whenever he's attached to a movie, doesn't do as well as like it's supposed to do. If it's Star Wars, they show on the prequels. If it's if it's this movie, it's like, and then we'll see how he does on Birds of Prey. I'm excited for it, but we'll see. I'll tell you right now, Birds of Prey, I was not excited for it for the longest time. You show me that motherfucker once in a black mask, you got my money. That's all it took. Me seeing Ewan McGregor putting on the mask, or seeing him walking, tucking up his suit with the suit on, the gloves on, and it looked like it was straight ripped out of Arkham.
And it's funny because with the Black Mask character, they've changed so much about it, but I'm still very much interested.
Yeah.
The same way like Suicide Squad, everybody swore by Joker. I didn't give a shit. I was interested in the Harley Quinn character. I even gave Deadshot credit to where it made me interested. And
Amanda Waller was great.
You know, the movie itself was fucking awful.
Yeah.
But there were characters and there was parts that I enjoyed. So going on for the Harley Quinn movie, I am excited for Ewan McGregor because I do think he's a great actor. It's a weird role for him to play, I think. Yeah. But I'm holding out hope that, like we talked about earlier, that they do still possibly plan to have this big extended DC universe involving Batman characters. If this is one of those ones, cool, because
do you want to get into DC stuff, or do you want to do Midsummer first?
Oh shit, I don't even know if I'm gonna waste time on Midsummer.
You want to give like a quick recap while I put another brewski?
I will give my recap
because I know people.
I'll give my recap to Midsummer. First and foremost, I do not understand why everybody swore by it. I don't get that whole idea of films. I almost think that it's full of shit these days where you hear reviews being like, people had to walk out.
I don't believe that.
What did they walk out from?
They said the same thing about The Witch. I mean...
Yeah. And for me, Midsummer, and I'm not just, people that, like we said, of the 800 views, like we said, that doesn't necessarily mean there's 800 people listening. But of those views and listens that you did give us, guys, you heard me talk about my rant about The Dark Knight and about movies that are widely renowned that I don't give a shit about. Mm-hmm. The Dark Knight I'll give a little bit more credit to. It's not in the same argument right now. Midsummer, though, with movies like we talked about earlier, Hereditary, certain films recently get so much praise and recognition in the media, and I just don't understand it. I saw both movies. I saw Hereditary and I saw Midsummer recently. I do not understand the hype. I do not understand why anybody thought it was a good movie.
The Katy Perry fans.
It was so, and like I said, Midsummer is a movie if you take, if you're a high school girl from or graduating high school, and you have parents that have endless fucking amounts of money, and you want to go to Coachella, or you want to go to EDC, or you want to go to these festivals. That's what
colorful bracelets.
That's what Midsummer starts off with the idea of, and then instantly turns to, oh, this is a cult, and then still takes the idea of, well, let's see if there's good in these people, like in their decisions. Yeah. And it isn't. It's a fucking cult, and it turns out the main dude brings all his friends there because the cult needs 8 sacrifices. Jesus. And they take the sacrifices, and the main girl that ends up being there is from a traumatic fucking life, and she ends up being like their new queen. Which, again, watching this, I'm not saying everybody thinks the same way I do or that I think the same way other people do, but watching this film, I knew where it was going. Yeah. I knew what was happening. I knew what was gonna happen. It's so predictable. Yeah. And Like it was one of those films that I don't get. I'll never get. I'll never fucking watch again.
I still don't get Hereditary.
I still don't either.
I've watched that movie 3 times now, and I'm still like, eh.
Yeah, I do not understand that one, and that was a big one too that everybody swore by, said they had to walk out of the theater, said it was so traumatic. If you walked out of the theater other than it being a piece of shit, I don't agree with you and I don't understand. So
I mean, I guess the only gruesome part in that movie was the girl getting her head clocked off when she's like breathing from air. That scene, there's like Hereditary was frustrating because there was so much potential with what he was trying to do. Like the girl getting her head knocked off, the mom getting possessed, burning the dad, chilling in the corner in the ceiling. That was probably one of the creepiest things I've ever seen in the horror movie in a long time.
See, and that's...
The wrap-up of it was just...
Midsommar tried doing certain scenes like that to where, you were like, oh, wow, look at this, like, kind of, not jump scare, but look at this, like, kind of not... I guess, like, surprising moment where you're like, oh, wow, like, oh, shit. But it wasn't enough to give it a good movie. It wasn't enough to keep the story going. It just wasn't enough. And that was my Midsommar summary because it was just it was one of those movies that, and I didn't even really want to like sit down and watch it. It was one of those weekends that I had nothing to do. Yeah. It was a movie that was free. I decided to just sit down and check it out. And instantly, same thing that you were talking about, having people message you telling you about The Grudge. You didn't listen. No. I didn't listen either, and it is what it is. We learned, but Midsommar of itself it is what it is.
Yeah, and I think it looked like that. It played that role. I think I didn't even react to the trailers, and you guys know I usually do reactions to shit, but I didn't care to do one for that. I don't know. I didn't hate Hereditary either. I think I gave it like a 7 or a 6 out of 10 when I reviewed it.
That's way better than you should have.
I think I watched it like on the day that was like I went to the theaters for it, so maybe that I don't know, but it was weird. Hereditary, I think I give it that score because of the potential that it had. I think there's things in that movie where I was like, oh, I wish they would have went there or done that or really stretched the imagination more than just being like naked people. And I think Midsommar does that shit too, allegedly.
Oh my god.
But just to go back to one of the horror movies, just stay on that track before we jump into DC. What'd you think of it?
Chapter 2?
Yeah, because I'll wait for you to give yours because I have.
I enjoyed it.
Really?
I think. Well, hold on.
Okay.
I liked the movie. I did see that one in theaters as well, and I'm so rare when it goes to actually get into the theaters these days. I did see that one. I enjoyed it, but I did feel there was something missing.
Yeah.
I felt like it wasn't. They did such a good job on the first one that I think they were lost.
Yeah.
They were like, okay, we're gonna do it. And the first thing that I remember reading was like, oh, they spent over however much on a budget of blood. This is the most movie that has blood in it.
And I feel like the first one had more.
Yeah. And like it just had more. It had more horror. And it had more scenes that were scary and suspenseful. To where this one, if you guys know, if you've read the book or seen the original Stephen King, you kind of know the whole story already. But this one to me was really trying to do not so much a different take on it, but a kind of different version. And it took a lot away. There was a lot more dialogue than I thought, where I like dialogue movies, but on a movie that is about a killer clown, you're kind of like, I'm expecting something more. Mm-hmm. And this one, because you were giving your rating earlier and everything, if I were to give a Hollywood score, a rating on that one, I honestly would probably give it no more than a 5. Mm-hmm.
Fair.
It wasn't bad.
Fair. Yeah.
It wasn't bad. Would I watch it again? Sure.
I don't know if I would watch it.
That's what I'm saying. If I watched it again, it probably would be when it's on TV. Or maybe just a random movie channel.
I think, honestly, and I never admitted to this, I'll admit to it now, I thought it was the most disappointing movie of the last year for me. I can see that. I was so bored with it.
I could totally believe that.
Yeah, I was so bored with it. That group, the Losers Club, did not have any chemistry whatsoever. I didn't buy into that bond that they created with the kids in the first one. Other than Bill Hader was great.
Other than Bill Hader and McAvoy.
Yeah, they were great. Everybody else, especially fucking Tubbs. I forget fucked his name.
Oh, the fat kid.
Yeah, there you go.
Like the adult actor?
Yeah, I didn't buy into that.
I don't know the actor.
Never seen him in a movie before. Didn't buy into that character whatsoever. And he's supposed to have...
You know what's sad? That character, too, again, going back on the Stephen King, he was no John Ritter. Like, you know what I mean?
And I think that ruined it for me because I'm like, John Ritter was so great.
And maybe that's it.
In Chapter 2 of the TV series of it.
Yeah.
I prefer Chapter 2 of the TV series over the movie.
Yes. Oh, I
At the end, like, that movie, the pace is great. Way too fucking long. This one, Jesus, man.
You just said that, and I stand by it. You enjoyed the second part growing up, but this one around, you enjoyed the first part, right?
Yeah.
Of the remake version,
the remake,
of the original TV movie.
I prefer the older version.
I never cared for the kids version.
The kids, because the kids version was very a TV series.
Because you look back.
They didn't push the envelope. No, it was 90s.
Oh, that was 90s?
Yeah.
Oh, it was 90s, yes, of course.
So they never pushed the envelope with Tim Curry with the kids.
Yeah.
And this one, I felt like they did more in the first one than they did in the second one. The second one was so tamed, and like it felt like they just turned Pennywise into a boy more than anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was more of a like, oh, I still like know your guys' past, I know your secrets, and this and that.
A lot of this, the sequel, they had a lot more moments where it wasn't Pennywise himself, it was the old lady.
Yeah.
It was Pennywise as the human form.
Yeah.
It was all these. It was the actual bully come back. So
it
was a lot of these different versions that. Yeah, like I get what you mean. Like they took away from Pennywise the clown.
Yes, I feel like we didn't get enough of him. And I'm glad to fucking God they didn't turn him into a giant mutant spider like the original one does.
They kind of tried.
They do, but they kept him still in the clown makeup. I was like, I respect that. If you're gonna do it,
I was waiting for it.
Great way of doing it, because I'm like, you can't take him off the screen. He's the whole centric purpose of that.
About that, seeing it in a theater. Overhearing people talk and hearing them after, so many, not surprising, but so many people that went and saw the first one and this one now have not
seen the
original. So they were so confused right up until the point when you start having the kind of like space alien almost aspect come in. And it was so funny watching in a theater and seeing the people's heads turn. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I thought he was a clown. I thought he was just a clown in the sewer.
Yeah, but once you see the fucking legs, it's like, what?
And again, you and me knowing the original, knowing the book and everything, it was just funny seeing as a moviegoer being like, oh, these fuckers don't know. Like, and yes, like you said, they kept his form. They didn't go as far-fetched, I guess, if you would say. But...
it just, I don't know, it didn't have, it just, like you said, it was missing something that the first one had, where it was like, you still felt the tension of the horror of them legitimately being scared. Like, there was never a scene in that movie where I was scared. And I fucking hate clowns with a passion.
Same.
Yeah,
with you.
Yeah, and the first one fucking scared the shit out of me, because I hate clowns, genuinely hate clowns. And I feel like they did enough in the first one to be like, in your face, jump scares here and there. This one, it was like, trying to tell a story, but also stay with that same flair. And every time they went back to the kids, I enjoyed it. When they had the flashback scenes, I was like, I dig this. It would go back to the adults. I'm like, that's not them. I'm like, it's not. Doesn't have that same like essential feeling. I love how he looks like Jim Carrey's Riddler at the end when they bully the shit out of him, where he just like muted in and his fucking hair is all jacked up because they kill him by bullying him. And I'm like, come on, guys. I'm like, I mean, I know he dies in the TV series by a rock, which would have preferred that than them just like bullying him until he like turned into like a munchkin kid.
But I think that's the funnier part again that. You know, we've oftentimes talked about it. We always talk about it because you see it on posters or TV shirts of who is like known as the, I guess, big four of like horror franchise, like killers, anything,
slashers,
stuff like that. And it's always the T-shirt that you normally see, and I just saw one again that surprised me. But usually it's Jason, Freddy, Michael. And the fourth one is always up to debate. Yeah. The T-shirts that upset me are when it's fucking...
Chucky or Pinhead?
Pinhead, more upsetting. Chucky, I'll be like, not mine, but okay. Mine is always going to be Leatherface. Yeah. You know? The other day I saw one that didn't include Freddy, but had Ghostface. And I was like, not above Freddy, but okay. Yeah. Above Pinhead, sure. Yeah. So... recently in this new generation, or the generation that we're in now, so many people put Pennywise up there, thinking, oh, he's this crazy killer, but he wasn't.
No.
He was, like we said, he was an alien spider that got defeated by a rock.
Yeah.
Like...
And again, he formed as a clown because he realized that was everybody's biggest fear when he came to fruition.
Yeah.
But like you said, I don't give a flying fuck about Chucky. I never have. I thought he was the most overrated horror character of all time. Pinhead, I'm like, whatever. It's 50 Shades of Grey, the horror version, so I never really give a shit about Pinhead anyways. But Chucky...
Why didn't that movie get more fame?
If it were...
if now people eat that shit up. Like,
it would have, yeah. If they were going with the S&M route, it's like you should have gone full on with it.
That should have been the greatest film ever.
Yeah, but like with Chucky, I've always been like, whatever. He's a fucking doll. I've never been scared of any dolls in my childhood or even my life, so maybe that's why I don't care about him. I know a lot of fucking people are petrified of that stupid doll, so I'm just like, okay. Leatherface, you have to add him in the top 4.
Yes.
He has to be there.
That's always...
He's done more damage. He's been in better movies, and like he comes off scarier than any of these other fuckers. You know what I mean? And Pennywise, like he's scary legitimately, but I just feel like the second one left such a shitty taste in my mouth. But that's a good way to transition to DC because the director of the 2 It movies is now the director of Flash. So he's directing the new Flash movie. Spoiler alert, fucking Ezra Miller's Flash showed up to Infinite Crisis, or whatever the fuck they're calling it. Crisis on Infinite.
I guess he's
staying on as Flash. Ezra Miller's Flash staying on. I mean, the plan is, from what I have been told and from what I have read, is that they're going to do Flashpoint, which is going to be a soft reboot, or begin the soft reboot of DCEU. My biggest thing from that has always been, I don't know if I want Flashpoint. Yes, I don't know if I want Flashpoint to be the first movie of the Flash. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather them set that up for the sequel. I think Flashpoint would be a great fucking sequel to a Flash trilogy.
I agree.
Yeah,
but because of, and it's not their fault necessarily, but because of everything that's happened recently with DC films.
Yeah, that's why they're in the predicament that they're in.
They're definitely trying to be like, fuck, what can we get? What can we do to get these people to believe in us off the bat?
And even a bigger thing than that, and this is how we're circling back into this, is that I think Flashpoint is being set up because I think DC and Warner Brothers really do want to have Robert Pattinson's Batman in the DC into the DC, storyline.
Yeah.
And I think also, from what I've been told, is they want Phoenix's Joker to also be included into that DC storyline.
That is where you might lose me.
Yeah.
Having all of it connected, I'm like, okay, but, and we're going to jump again, but maybe we'll do another episode for another time. My whole thing is, with having Joaquin's Joker involved in anything other than itself, you're taking away from other stories. So those that saw the movie, that understand it, Joker obviously, but the other film, if you saw Brightburn, which to me we just touched on, you said that Dr. Sleep was you're choosing to say that was your favorite movie of 2019?
Third favorite.
Okay.
First it's Joker, Irishman, then Dr. Sleep. Okay. For me, and then Endgame.
For me, one of them, absolutely, whether it's 3, 2, 1, Brightburn's absolutely in there. Yes. Yeah. So, Brightburn...
Produced or directed by James Gunn?
I believe it was directed.
Shut up.
Because that was where they tie in his independent film Super into the universe as well. Yeah. So the whole idea, though, is that they could build a universe of these characters that, yes, you guys know them as superheroes, but these are dark tales. Almost like the grim adventures of the Disney characters that you would, I think Joker is better off being off on its own and doing a universe like that than joining the rest. Because Joker was a fantastic film that I finally now have seen. The last podcast, I didn't see it yet. I think it was phenomenal. Do I think that it should have been called Joker? No.
Yeah.
because it didn't need to be. It had its own story. It had a great actor. It had a great story, and it did have a great story.
It could have been just like American Psycho all over again, and it didn't need to be attached to anything. American Psycho was a one-off
because it delivered in the scare factor, in almost the horror aspect, in the suspense, thriller, psychological. It delivered on all the aspects, but now that there are talks of being like, well, how about a Batman in it? What about this? If you do it almost still connecting also to Gotham, do it its own story. It has nothing to do with any other Batman comic, television, movie, anything, and I think I can believe it.
And I think what's the problem there for them is that they're kind of in a jam because they're like, this movie fucking outperformed any of our expectations. Yeah. And fucker's nominated for 11 Oscars, which is insane for a comic movie to be nominated for that many Oscars and not just get the Oscar nominations like a movie like Black Panther, whatever. But that movie, I think it's too hard for them to be like, we can't do more with it. Because if Heath Ledger doesn't die, they would have done way more with Heath Ledger's Joker, because that was always the plan. So I think they're like, we're not going to waste this opportunity to be like more Phoenix, more Joker. From what I've been told, and it's funny because you bring up the Brightburn being like those dark elements, there's going to be a dark DC universe.
Okay.
So you're going to see more spin-offs of DC villains getting their own solo movies. Mr. Freeze, probably Lex Luthor, which will also be a recast. I swear to God, if we get Michael B. Jordan as Superman, no offense to him, I don't think.
And
I'm like, that's the rumor right now, but I still hope and pray that we still get Henry Cavill. I know a lot of people aren't fans of Henry Cavill. I liked him personally as Superman. I thought he was a fine Superman.
Mind him.
Yeah,
I thought he was and I'm not a Superman fan, but as far as the character, and if we're going nostalgia, that was so Christopher Reeves.
Yeah,
that the look, and then so many people hate Justice League, but when he started being campy Superman, I was like, oh shit,
some good
Superman.
Shit there.
Like,
I think I don't know. From what last I've been told, I don't think Cavill will come back, but I hope so. If you do cast Michael B. Jordan, then you better fucking cast Denzel as Lex Luthor. But to wrap it back up, I think we will see a bunch.
Denzel's anybody.
Yeah, Denzel's anybody. But I think you will see eventually them making these more DC spin-offs. The issue, again, like I was bringing up, is that there is a new Batman movie coming out, and they are directing it, and they have high hopes for it. Like, it's a pretty fucking stacked cast. You're getting the pretty much the Batman's rogues gallery in this movie, minus the Joker. You know, you're getting Riddler, you're getting Penguin, you're gonna get Mad Hatter, you're getting Catwoman. I'm hearing rumors of possibly Poison Ivy and other characters will show up in this. Technically, this whole Matt Reeves Batman movie or trilogy, whatever he's going to end up doing, is pretty much based off of video games, from what I'm being told.
Oh, like the Arkham?
Yeah, it's based off Arkham and also a little bit of the Long Halloween, which has a lot to do with Two-Face as well. They are bringing back Two-Face from what I've been told as well. We'll see how they pull that off because it's already been done by Nolan and Dark Knight. We'll see how they do that. Because originally Ben Affleck's Batman movie, the script was pretty much Batman being locked in Arkham.
Okay.
So the prisoners take over and the psychos take over, and it's all Batman trying to get out of Arkham and restore order back in there. That would have been Affleck's fucking movie, which I'm still craving it. I'm still feeling the remorse for never going to be able to see him as Batman again. By the way, I know we jump all over the place, but just deal with it, guys. Just go with us on this ride that we're going on. I did watch Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, and I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan. I'm a huge Clerks fan, as I said earlier. I'm also a fucking huge Chasing Amy fan. Chasing Amy, man, has got me through some dark times in my life. That movie...
We've all been in love with a lesbian, so, it happens.
So Chasing Amy is just a fucking, like, a legendary movie to me, and it just really... Chasing Amy is, like, really shows Kevin Smith at his best. It's like, that dude could tell any fucking story, even if it's a man turning into a walrus. Chasing Amy, though, great movie. So I watched Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. It's the, Ben Affleck finally being reunited with Kevin Smith. So that already brought me nothing but joy. He's playing the fucking character from Chasing Amy. Finger Cuffs comes back in this bitch as well. They have a kid. They name it Amy. I'm like, fuck, man. They're playing the music in the background from Chasing Amy, and then fucking Affleck has a great like speech like he does in Chasing Amy, where he's pretty much telling Silent Bob and like, you know, pretty much accepting their future and letting go of the past. And then there's a scene where Affleck's character is like, you know, I used to always think I was Bruce Wayne, but I'm not Bruce Wayne anymore. I'm more like his father. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, damn you, Kevin. Of all the shit that you could do, bringing that character back was just awesome to me. So shout out to Kevin Smith. J.O. and Silent Bob the Reboot. It's a very fun movie. It's one of those, like, the greatest hits version of Kevin Smith. So if you have not watched that, I highly recommend that. But bouncing back into that, I do think you will see Joaquin Phoenix Joker again. If it's in the sequel, if not, I think we might see him as the potential Joker in a Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson Batman movie down the line. I think that's going to happen.
Mean, if they somehow, and like we talked about, if they do a Flashpoint movie that fucks with all the, like, the movies in a roundabout
That's the plan.
way,
that is the plan.
and puts them all together in some weird, and it works out, and it all lines up, then fine, we'll see it. I just didn't think it would make sense. Clearly, those of you that have seen the Joker and seen
it could be a standalone movie.
Yeah,
and it's fine like that.
So if you know, because honestly, to me, and this is all not even wishful thinking. This is just how things could go. If they do, because the Batman's coming out before Flash, correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Batman comes out in
Batman should have the entire film, every villain, anybody and everybody except the Joker. And if you want to wow me, in the very end, have it connect to maybe Flash or something. Nothing too big yet, but have it connect to one of the other films so you're like, wait a minute, what the fuck? Then do the Flash film and have it end with showing Joker connecting to this or that or something like that.
Yeah.
Then being like, whoa. I don't think Batman should end with anything right now because it's still too early.
Yeah, and my biggest thing is, like, if you're doing the Rogues Gallery like they are, it's like, where do you take it next? You know what I mean? Like, you're showing all these villains. I mean, unless you're going to do Under the Red Hood. But then if you are, then you got to have fucking Joker.
Yes.
And my biggest thing from that is, like, if you're connecting all the universes together, I don't know how that Joker works with, like, a Harley Quinn from Margot Robbie.
No, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not going to work for me. And I don't want to see them together, really, either.
No.
It worked with Leto because Leto looked fucking annoying like that, too. You know, he fit the demographic of that Harley Quinn. We'll see how it plays off. The only characters that have been shown in DC that are going to stay from this soft reboot after Flashpoint are going to be probably, well, for sure, Wonder Woman, even though I've heard some, you know, weird things about the next movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are going to be that sold on the new Wonder Woman. I think a lot of people are going to watch it, but I think it's a completely different movie than the last one.
The last one.
Yeah,
okay.
they totally changed the tone, and the story arc is going to be weird. Aquaman, I think that will stay and made $1 billion, no doubt. Shazam didn't make that much money, but they like him. They like Zachary Levi as that character, and obviously that's all leading up to Dwayne playing Black Adam. Yeah, that's in production. They're going to introduce the JSA into that version of Black Adam to eventually get to Shazam 3, because Shazam 2, I don't know what the plan is for Shazam 2, honestly. I think Shazam, they ended with like some caterpillar at the end. I'm not going to pretend I'm a huge Shazam fan or know
and like
the planning hood of that.
I read about who the character was, but again, if you're not a huge, and I'm not even being rude, if you're not a huge Shazam fan, which I don't know who the fuck really is, you wouldn't understand these characters or like the kind of Easter eggs because they're not.
How would you? I mean, yeah. They show the counterpart towards the end, and I'm just like, what? I'm like, I want to care.
I had to look it up to be like, oh, okay.
And I get it, but then but even when you look it up, though, it's like, really? That's the villain for the second one? Because I'm like, I don't know how that's going to play off. Are we doing super campy movies now with DC? Is this like,
I mean, Shazam, yeah, probably would. Anything else, who knows? But, you know.
What else do we got to talk about? We're already at 53.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot, man.
I know. Is there anything else we got to plug or fucking talk about? I know we had like always we have a plan.
I know.
We jump over the Deadpool. Oh, fucking! Before the Terminator shit.
Yeah.
Because I never got to say it. They fucking. If you have not seen that movie, those assholes killed John Connor. Fuck you. Okay, you do not get to kill the whole reason this whole shit happens. That's the really John Connor is the whole reason of the Terminator saga. You can't just come back and be like John Connor's dead. It's like no, motherfucker.
What bummed me out the most about that was just like, you brought back Edward Furlong, man. That guy needs to act. But you didn't even really bring him back, but I guess they did, because the whole thing is, he shot those scenes, and they did the de-aged thing. But I'm like, did they need to? They could have just made him look like a kid. They didn't need him, old man him, like...
And, like, the whole storyline's, like, 2 years later. Like, it only took two fucking years for them to kill John Connor. It's like, don't get me wrong, the Christian Bell John Connor I never cared for.
Holy shit.
The next one that they didn't care for either.
I tried, man.
Yeah, the Christian Bell. And Salvation has some moments.
All of them.
Salvation has some moments where it's like, that's cool, but then also at the end of the day, it was just another fucking terrible Terminator movie. Even Terminator 3, I like that John Connor a little bit, because I'm like, I get it. He's kind of like a loser and shit. Yeah, no. I kind of dug that one, but everything after that was annoying. But then they're like, we're bringing it back, and he's also coming back. And I'm like, cool. We're killing him. Fucking right when the movie starts. It's like, nah, dude.
Yeah, they didn't take any time.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so what's the fucking point of all of this? Shouldn't, as soon as he die, fucking Judgment Day happens immediately then?
And that's what I thought. Watching the film, I was like, oh, so now this, and then it was.
So I went to the theaters for that one too. That happens. I'm sitting there trying to like be like, okay, just let it go. And I ended up walking out because I'm like, nah, fuck this. Because this movie does not make any sense to me and it means nothing now.
No.
The whole point is John Connor. That's the shit that started. Terminator 2 is one of the greatest fucking movies of all time.
Because that's the worst part too. That like they started by being like, oh, this is a direct again, some movies can get away with it. Most can't. When you say this movie is a direct sequel to one movie, chances are you already fucked it up.
Yes.
So the fact that they said this is a direct sequel to Judgment Day, I wanted, like you said, I wanted to be like, oh, this is going to be good. We're bringing Arnold back. Yeah. We're bringing the original Sarah back. Okay, this can be good. Yeah. And then it wasn't. And then that's the big thing. Like we said, yes, some people enjoyed Salvation. I fucking hated it. But most people hated Genesis.
That was so fucking terrible.
I didn't
hate
it.
Really?
Yeah. Watching that the first time, I didn't hate it. I was confused, and it was annoying how they tried changing the story. But that one, the biggest thing that bummed me out was the whole John Connor thing. Mm. That was, to me, the end-all, be-all,
that's why I hate it.
Worst version
of
John or any Terminator.
You can't fuck that up.
No. So this one, like you said, starting the film off with that scene was enough for me to be like, what? And like you said, you're better than me. You walked out. You stopped watching it. I kept watching it.
I should not be as big of a fucking John Connor fan that I am, but I love Terminator 2. That shit is my shit, dude. I love that movie. That kid and that storyline with the Arnold character, that whole movie is fucking amazing to me. It felt like the biggest slap to my face and my childhood and everything that I've ever loved about Terminator 2 and Judgment Day, and even the first Terminator, because it has to do with fucking John Connor at the end of the day, because it's the establishing the fucking leader. You kill him, the movie's over. There is no continuation.
Again, let's get to the fact too where I just put that together, where I'm like, it's supposed to be after Terminator 2. Why was it the Arnold model?
True. I mean, again,
spoiler guys. But
well, I mean, it happens the first fucking 10 minutes of the film. I forget what they're in. Yeah, they're chilling. They're at a bar, which I'm like, why would Sarah Connor take John there? Of all places, when she's been an asshole. She's like, no, we're gonna go celebrate now. We fucking destroyed them. It's over. She was a hard ass in Terminator 2. Now they're fucking chilling at a bar drinking. And it's like, and then she lets him walk by himself, which she would never do in Terminator 2.
No.
And then he's dead. And then the movie keeps going. It's like, no, this is where the credits hit. Because that's the end. Then it's Judgment Day. Now there's no leader. And they're fucked. But they're like, nope, the story continues. There's a female Terminator. Now there's a girl they gotta save. There's a Mexican Terminator now. I'm like, Jesus. I mean, the fuck did you pick him up from Home Depot to get him to be Terminator? And I can say that because I'm Mexican, so it doesn't fucking matter, guys. Fuck that movie. It was the worst movie of last year. I do not give a shit. And that says a lot because there's a movie called Cats that came out. I do not give a shit. The new Terminator was the worst movie I have seen in a very long time because, again, a lot of movies shit on my childhood, and a lot of movies are like nowadays are trying to take back or try to like get that magic that you had in the 90s and early 2000s. This one was a big fuck you to me in my childhood. Fuck that movie. At the end of the day, so I'm so glad you brought it up because I never had the chance to bring it up.
I didn't think about it as much until you just said it. Worst movie of the last year, definitely on par. Definitely top 5.
Oh, like, fuck them. It's number 1.
It's I'm. It would take me a minute to argue, so I might be with you right there because I'm with you, man.
And I don't give a fuck if the director made Deadpool.
I love Judgment Day. No, I don't give a shit what movies he made. I love Judgment Day. So yeah, to see this film and be like, and I was so on board with it when like, oh, you're bringing Arnold back again? Dope. Let's do this shit.
And where
everybody still was like, I don't give a shit if Arnold's back. But that was my sign on.
But he's
and then yes,
Terminator.
Original Sarah. I was like,
and then her. It's like, okay, fuck yeah. It's like bring her back. Like that's cool. James Cameron's attached to this shit. I'm like,
gonna be cool.
Fuck yeah. From what I've heard, he had like creative fucking differences with the director that actually directed. But I'm like, then you should have fucking directed it then, dude.
Exactly.
All right, let's wrap it up. We're into this. I know we jumped all over the place. This was kind of like a 2019 movie review of all this shit.
Yeah.
A lot of shit movies. A lot of shit movies.
A lot worse movies than good.
Oh, well, fucking let's wrap it up this way. Favorite movie of last year?
Favorite movie of last year? All in par of what we've been talking about. I'll go Brightburn.
Brightburn, all right.
Because as far as, I could get into detail about other movies, but right now, I'm going to go Brightburn.
I'm gonna go fucking Joker. That movie fucking was just too breathtaking for me. Like just to touch the horror aspect and the psychological aspects, but also go near DC. Did you hear what Kevin Smith said the other day?
I'm not sure.
That he was told that one of the rumors of the original ending for Joker was Joker killing Bruce Wayne.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
And if that's the case,
I think they should have done it.
Because
you could have ended it there. That would have been the door would have been closed completely because then there would have been a world without Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Would it have been a world without Batman or a world that Batman still began because Joker killed his parents?
No, he kills all 3.
Oh, he killed all 3?
So yeah, he kills the dad. He pulls the pearls off her neck. He kills the mom. Bruce is crying. He's laughing, and then he stops, turns around, and fucking blasts the kid in the head.
Wow.
But Warner Brothers is like, no. Because they're like, if this movie's a success, leave the door open for a sequel.
If they would have had him kill the parents and not Bruce, again, I stand by my statement. If they did their own standalone version of a Batman type universe, fine. But if they would have still tried to connect it, that's where I lose interest.
And I think they will.
So yeah, exactly.
So, and I don't be surprised. But again, I probably maybe don't get your hopes up because then you have to convince Phoenix to do it again. And Phoenix is very difficult to be like, let's do it again.
But so far, I've heard that he does want to do.
Apparently he was very into the whole editing process as well. So that's very big for him. So we'll see. My boys, that was our 2019. Pretty much a recap. Lighthouse, great.
Yes.
The Jay and Silent Bob reboot, great. Midsummer, fucking terrible. Brightburn, great.
The Grudge, terrible.
The Grudge, terrible.
So about
Doctor Sleep, amazing.
So 4 movies out of the last year and a half were pretty good.
Yeah.
Other than that, not so great.
Yeah. So every other year. This year has not been that great of a start because we started with The Grudge.
Yeah.
So we'll see how we go. Bad Boys for Life, I heard it's fucking amazing stuff to watch that one, and I'll let you guys know. Any movie with Will Smith, that guy's the LeBron of movies. Anyways, my boys, we will see you guys soon. I promise. It's not going to be a 2-3 month layover like last time. Again, you can always find us Wednesday night, usually over on Free Admission, Matt's and Mark's. We will be there also as well for GCF's Assimilation, February 8th. Tickets are now on sale. I'll leave a link in the description. Rossi, you got anything to plug or just you chilling?
Like we said, no, we're just chilling with the GCF news. Like we said, we do want to make sure, and we're going to do our damnedest to get this a weekly thing, if not maybe bi-weekly, something. But we do want to just, reviews necessarily Hollywood's got handled, but we always want this to be a kind of fun
discussion
thing, and every week is kind of a new idea. And also, feel free to leave comments and suggestions of what you want us to talk about. Yeah. There's movies, television, comics, anything. Tell us what you might want to hear some two people chit-chat about.
And even if it is wrestling, let us know. We'll talk about it. I know, like, Matt's and Marks, we're there, but it's more of a passing thing here. We're more able to, well, obviously we're able to talk to for like a whole hour. It's just me and Rossi most of the time. But definitely going to push Hollywood Uncensored way more. Maybe even down the line we'll get some guests. We'll see. But we're definitely going to push this forward. We've already caught up to our streak of 2 because that was our longest streak. So we've tied it, and I'm pretty sure we'll get episode 3 up soon as well. My boys, as always, if you like this video or audio, I'm sure there's going to be pictures attached as well with the audio. Don't forget to slap that thumb, subscribe, and join the Hollywood Quick. Links are all down below in the description. Again, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Pacific time. Matt's and Marks. You on this week or not?
I'm gonna try.
Okay, Rossi might be there.
Sure.
Yeah, Rossi might be there, so I will be, as always, giving the wrestling news. So if you're like, where's the wrestling shit? You'll find out Wednesday, and you'll also find that on Tuesdays and sometimes Thursdays and sometimes Saturdays. Just depends when WWE isn't fucking with me, like always. But yeah. The last couple of days just has been kind of weird because I tried uploading a video and WWE blocked it, so that's why I was like, fuck it. I did drop a video of the Joker Mortal Kombat. You saw that shit, right? Lit as shit. That was awesome. I know you guys want me to do another reaction to the Merkins video. Have you seen the fucking Merkins?
I've heard about it.
The Slash Street Boys? Yeah. Okay, they dropped one with Leatherface the last couple of days. I'll check that out. I know you guys have been requesting it. But again, podcasting. I know I start a lot of these and I never fucking end up doing them, but fucking Terminator just ended up coming onto the TV right when I end this. That's triggering as fuck.
Dude, and they knew what you were doing.
It feels like nobody's buying that. That's why it's today, because nobody's buying that piece of shit. I didn't even know it's on sale. My boys, I will see you guys later on. It is your boy Hollywood Hogan.
This is Rossi.
See you guys later on. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. Too sweet.